Hello everybody, welcome to another episode of the Chase with Jace. I'm your host, Jace Lejeune, and I did get a chance to post my write-up about Pro Day because we've been pretty busy here around the Gridiron Football office. We're preparing for a camp, by the way, so might as well have a plug about our camp coming up. It's going to be at Palestine, Texas. It's going to be Westwood High School, where we had it last year. It was home for Gridiron Football Player of the Year, Kavian Bryant. We'll be there next Saturday, April 12th. I know there's a lot of LSU fans out in Texas, so I just want to give a shout out to anybody that's in Texas. Have you had any players or any kids from 6th grade to 11th grade that wants to participate in our camp? Make sure you go to our website, gridironfootballusa.com, and get signed up for our next camp on April 12th. But this show is about LSU, so we're going to go right into it and talk about the Tigers. Like I said, I was there for Pro Day. I have a lot of great footage. I know Alex is going to do a great job of putting everything together for y'all on the show. So on this episode, not going to be a really long show, but that way we can show you all the great highlights from LSU Pro Day. But we're going to talk about LSU Pro Day just a little bit before we get to the highlights. And basically the one takeaway, there weren't many takeaways compared to last year, because you remember last year you knew that Jaden Daniels was getting ready for Pro Day, and pretty much any NFL coach that was there. Obviously, when you had obviously you had that trio, right? Jaden Daniels, Malik Neighbors, Brian Thomas, and they all participated in Pro Day. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of people in attendance and a lot of eyes on the Tigers for that Pro Day. And comparing this one, the biggest name from LSU that is going to be looked at as an early draft pick, he didn't really participate in Pro Day, and that's Will Campbell. So Will Campbell, he actually did interviews. He did talk to the media after Pro Day was over, and the biggest thing was not any sort of drill or any sort of rep or anything like that. Will Campbell already proved to you on film what he can do. So there wasn't really much of a need for him to go out there and show what he can do. If anything, this could hurt him more than help him. So it makes a lot of sense for him not to participate in it. The biggest thing with Will Campbell that afternoon was one measurable in particular, and it is his arm length. So I've never seen an arm length be that, like, the crowning point of Pro Day, but that was a crowning point. Everybody was so intent and focused on how long Will Campbell's arms are, because that's definitely been a talk of the town for the NFL draft, and especially if he is projected to be a tackle in the NFL. You have to have some long arms, right? It definitely helps when you're going against some of the best athletes in the NFL, which are those pass rushers. But he did actually have a better arm length measurable with 33 inches, coming at 33 inches compared to what he was measured at the combine. So, but Will Campbell, obviously, he was asked about it, and he's like, it's so overrated with the arm lengths and everything, and you can tell by his form, his technique, that he can get by with not maybe having the longest arms. But he's shown that with his film, and he says that one measurable is not going to make or break what he does as a player. So we've seen that plenty of times before. We've seen that with, Joe Burrow's hand size. That was another example, right? It doesn't matter. Does it help? Yes, but that one thing won't make or break a player. And so I don't think an arm length situation is going to make or break Will Campbell in terms of the next level. But if there's somebody who won NFL or the LSU Pro Day, it was none other than Josh Williams. Josh Williams pretty much was if there's one thing you want to take away from this video and from the show, I got to tell you, Josh Williams was the big takeaway. He comes in with a 42.5-inch vertical for Josh Williams. And just in comparison, that is the second best behind any player in the actual NFL Combine. That's how good Josh Williams' 42.5-inch vertical was. And then also to add on to that, he ran a 4.45 as well. So you saw Jason Blackburn in the interview that a 4.40. Well, Josh Williams ran a 4.45. So a really good time for Josh Williams, and he also impressed with the bench press too. I think he had like close to 20 reps of 225, which is really impressive for a running back. So you knew that Josh Williams, he's one of those workout weight room type of warriors, right? Like, he's going to impress in all the measurables. If you just look at him, he's put together. So it doesn't surprise me he had a 42.5-inch vertical. It doesn't surprise me in a 4.45 40. Talk about just squeezing as much of the orange as possible, getting the most out of somebody. That's Josh Williams. I mean, he came in as a walk-on to LSU. For him to play that long, win a national championship, graduate, get his degree, get a chance to wear the number 18 jersey, start at LSU at running back, and then have a combine like this. Like, he is going to get drafted. The NFL team's going to take a chance on Josh Williams based on his performance and what he did that particular pro day. So huge victory for Josh Williams. He's going to get drafted based on that pro day. So Josh Williams, definitely the biggest guy that stands out. Kyron Lacey, him participating in pro day was a big story as well, because I'm not going to go into all the legal stuff, but I mean, you've heard about what happened early in January, if you haven't, about the going through the legal process and everything, but he did participate in pro day. And he had a slow start early on, but when he was able to get going, he got going. I mean, he ran a 4.5 40, and he's a big, physical, big receiver. And he did really well, like when quarterbacks, when Garrett Nussmeier came in and started throwing against air, but I mean, what else are you going to do in pro day, right? So they did a great job of getting Kyron Lacey some targets and making sure he looks good in the pro session as well. Mason Taylor, I mean, he was pretty solid throughout all the drills, all the reps. I mean, Mason Taylor looked really good as he went through it, and he ran a 4.65 was his official time for Mason Taylor. But he also had, I think he was close to, so he had 28 reps on bench of 225, and he was actually up there with some of the linemen that were actually doing the bench presses for the linemen. So that was really impressive. Him on the 4.65, 28 reps of bench press of 225. That was really good. And then you saw what kind of route runner he was at LSU. He's the all-time leading receiver at LSU at the tight end position. So yeah, those guys looked well. I mean, they expected what you expect, and I think the offensive lineman did a great job as well. I mean, Will Campbell didn't participate in anything, but you have Garrett Dellinger, Miles Frazier. They looked really well. So I thought it was a good day overall, and it also gave you a sneak peek into the future too. I'm gonna end things on this. Garrett Nussmeier got the throw, so you also got to see a sneak peek of, and maybe when you go back and watch the highlights of it, you get to see a sneak peek of what next year's LSU offense is going to be. Because even though Kyron Lacey and Josh Williams are getting reps and everything, Garrett Nussmeier was also throwing to Bauer Sharp. He was throwing to Aaron Anderson. He was throwing deep shots to Chris Hilton. He was throwing to Xavier Thomas. It's great because it gives those guys an early look in front of NFL scouts. So that was really good for LSU to get like a sneak peek. Hey, for the scouts, not only about this year's draft class, but let's take a look at some of the other guys coming up as well. So it gave an opportunity for scouts to see some of the skill players for LSU for next year too. Overall, not as newsworthy of an LSU Pro Day as the year before, but still a pretty solid one. Josh Williams obviously was the headliner because of what he was able to do. If there's one takeaway, I want y'all to take away from Josh Williams, absolutely phenomenal. And Mason Taylor, steady. You're going to know what you're going to get from him, and I think he improved his draft stock because you know what kind of player you're going to get when you get Mason Taylor. Well, guys, enjoyed this video. Alex does a great job for us here at Gridiron Football, and he put together this little video highlight that I was able to film at LSU Pro Day. So check it out, take a look, and see all the basically all the sights and sounds from what LSU Pro Day in 2025.
Am I the only one that didn't know Tamara Cleans supports gridiron football? At Tamara Cleans, we don't just clean, we care. Proudly serving Baton Rouge, our team delivers top-notch personalized service with a smile. Both home and office, we have you covered. From routine tidying to deep cleans, we make your space shine. Plus, we're huge gridiron football fans just like you. Mention you saw this ad on Gridiron Football and a get special offer, so why wait? Call us at 225-287-4761 now. Tamara Cleans, your trusted local cleaning partner.
And welcome back, guys, to the Chase with Jace. Appreciate Tamara, who does a great job of sponsoring us here at Gridiron Football and is a proud sponsor of Chase with Jace. Cannot do the show without her, so I appreciate her. And great job, Alex. You saw all those videos put together. I gotta give myself a little credit. Was able to video all that footage that you're able to see. But hopefully you got some good shots and got to see a little bit of what goes on during LSU Pro Day. So hopefully you enjoy the highlights there. And yeah, we're going to wrap it up with just some news, some LSU news before we go into another week of spring football. This week, no LSU spring. As you can tell, there's probably nothing on the website or anything this week from LSU football. That's just because spring break. So we're pretty limited here at the Gridiron office this week. But we'll be back next week. So next week will be another week of LSU spring football. And actually next Saturday will be LSU's open spring practice. It's not going to be the spring game like it usually is in years past. But there's going to be an open practice in Tiger Stadium in front of the fans. So if you are available on April 12th, yeah, go make sure to go check out Tiger Stadium. I think it's always like around 1 o'clock. I could be wrong, but I think it's 1 o'clock time for the open practice for LSU. So make sure to check that out and see what the early version of the 2025 Tiger is going to look like next fall. And we've also just want to end the show with some recruiting news. LSU, some good, some bad, but that's how recruiting is, right? You're going to get some going your way, and then you're going to be getting some stuff against your way. So that's just the way it is. But good news for LSU. The number one wide receiver in the 2026 class, Tristan Keys, he has committed to LSU. Wrote a little article about it. But he's actually from Mississippi. He's from Hattiesburg High School. 6'3", 185 pounds. Number 3 overall prospect in the 2026 class in on 3. And he chose LSU over, you guess it, other SEC schools. He chose LSU over Tennessee, Alabama, and Texas A&M. Sorry, Alex, but Tristan decided to choose the Tigers over the Alabama Crimson Tide. But it's not going to be far from over. The interesting part about this, too, not only this is one of the top recruits in the 2026 class, he's actually the first verbal commit that's not from the state of Louisiana in the 2026 class. Because if you look at the other commits in 2026, you have Richard Anderson and the Card defensive lineman, Bryson Martinez, East Ascension offensive lineman, Aiden Hall and the Carr safety, Kenny Darby, airline receiver, Ja'Kai Anderson, McDonald 35, and Jalen Chapman from Warren Easton. So he's actually the first one to be not from the state of Louisiana to commit to the Tigers. Well, LSU also got another, I guess like leading into that, LSU did also get another commit from the state of Louisiana. And he's actually from basically the pipeline that LSU definitely goes through for quite a lot. And it's Destrehan High School. And by some receiver named Justin Jefferson, yes, he went to Destrehan High School. Now, LSU trying to find that next Justin Jefferson, because Jamari Back, he also committed to the Tigers, and he is a big-time recruit for the 2026 class. Louisiana has always been a great state, for talent. And again, another commit in this class is huge. And Jabari Mack, continuing that pipeline, like the Jeffersons, obviously. But yeah, this is definitely a guy to get. I know that Boobie Feaster from Texas is a big name recruit, as one of the top in the country. He reclassified to 2026, so that's going to be another 5-star that's in the mix, right? But to get another talented receiver, Jabari Mack, the number 83 overall player in the country, and the state of Louisiana's 5th best prospect. if you're a head coach at LSU, if you're Brian Kelly, if you're going back to Ed Orgeron, Nick Saban really started this mold, right, of keeping and locking down the state of Louisiana. So every single year, you want to hold down the state of Louisiana, signing majority of your top 10 prospects. And right now, this is the number 5 guy in the state of Louisiana. So a big time get for the Tigers to add to that recruiting cycle. And like I said, locking down the state of Louisiana, right? There's going to be some good news. There's going to be some bad news. Well, the bad news came earlier this week as right down the road, actually, my alma mater, Catholic High School, Blaine Bradford, he actually committed this week to Ohio State. Now, it's far from over. And you knew this from last year. Look at this point last year. LSU had the number 1 quarterback in the country. LSU had the number 1 wide receiver in the country, and they end up not signing with LSU in the end. So LSU is familiar with this for the wrong reasons, but it's never not over, especially until you sign on the dotted line. And especially, he's right down the road. He's at Catholic High School. You're going to still be able to recruit him. You're not going to just like, oh, he committed to Ohio State, time to give it up. You're still going to be able to recruit him. And LSU, trust me, they got his brother Jacob. He's going to be arriving on campus next fall. So Blaine Bradford, he is still a very good possibility for LSU. One of the top safeties. A lot of people are saying the top safety in the country. So this will be a big get for LSU. I know he's committed to Ohio State, but Tiger fans, don't give up on them just yet. So, yeah, this is a little bit of a recruiting update for you guys. Like I said, LSU will be back giving you some coverage of LSU football next week. It's a little bit different than years past with the spring break and then having a spring game. And I think they're going to have a couple more practices after that. So the schedule's kind of all over the place this spring. It's definitely a unique spring, but it's still down to the last couple of practices. So make sure to go check out LSU next Saturday. That's going to be the April 12th. I will not be there because we're going to be, like I said, we're going to be in Palestine, Texas at Westwood High School. So anybody watching this, make sure to sign up for that camp April 12th, and we hope to see you all at Westwood High School next week. Make sure to go to our website, gridironfootballusa.com, and make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more LSU football coverage and just more football coverage as well, especially from our camps coming up and great shows, great content. Go to gridironfootballusa.com. Subscribe to our YouTube channel as well. And next Wednesday, we hope to see you on another episode of The Chase with Jace.